I wonder, Jessica, when you were going through transitions, because when I look at your work and your career and your journey and your purpose, there've been so many transitions along the way. Which transition made you feel the most insecure, a sense of imposter syndrome? I feel these are things that people struggle with that so much today. People are, everyone's trying to, I think everyone's been trying to switch their career. They're trying to become something they didn't train to be. And I feel like you'd have some really good words of advice.
That's the story of my life. Yeah. I felt like I had imposter syndrome always, in everything, at every stage. From like, going to school with kids who when we got out of the military, when I was 9, we moved into my grandparents' house, and it was like a predominantly white, middle class suburb. And there just weren't people that looked like us. We were living in my grandparents' house. That was like a very different circumstance than most people. Most people had like, domestic help, and they had like all the things, and their parents had these established careers and were a little bit older, and they were mostly white. And so coming from like with us, we're living. My grandparents would stay with us half the week, and my parents are in a way like children when they're around the parents, right? And then we're the children as well. So there was like this very different, so I felt like an imposter syndrome there for sure. And then when I started acting, I was like, I guess I always felt like maybe I guess I felt like I didn't belong, and Hollywood didn't make space for people that look like me or were me. They'd called me exotic, right? It was like even the word Mexican American or like, Latina, like that was like such a specific thing to be that. And it was like not me. And I was like, wait a minute, but there's a lot of people that are like me that are here, in this country, but it's just Hollywood didn't recognize it. And so I didn't even have a place in Hollywood. And I remember twice presenting at the Oscars, and I just felt so uncomfortable backstage. I was like, I just want to get up. I just want to do the thing, and I just want to leave. And I was like, and I was with my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. And I was like, oh my God. And there were a few actors that could tell how sort of nervous I was, and they were so sweet. And then I jumped into being an entrepreneur. And again, I'm in rooms where I'm the only woman. I've never done this before. Everyone has like, fancy degrees from business schools and Ivy Leagues. And I've, never had a desk job, didn't do any of that. I got my GED, and I, started working so young. And so I'm sitting here, again, trying to find my way. And about 3 years into Honest, I learned the operations of the business completely. And in all the meetings where my, business partners were like, no, you do that thing, and we're going to do this thing. And I basically said, no, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to learn. And I learned. And then I challenged them with stuff that didn't make sense. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I do belong, and maybe I am smart, and maybe I do deserve to be here. And maybe people are just judging me based off of like their own insecurities, But it took me quite a bit to sort of like get to that place. And at that point, I was like 30. So you're 33. I think I was like 34. When it all kind of like started to come together, and I had 2 kids by then and 2 careers, and it took me a hot minute,
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I think that's a great lesson for all of us in patience around, we are going to feel that imposter syndrome. We are going to feel that insecurity. And what I'm hearing from you is it's not really like, oh, this is what I did and this broke it through and this is what I did. It was more just, you had to be patient with yourself, and you had to allow it to naturally develop when you found your home in Honest and your kind of like sacred space in creating Honest that feels like such a strong foundation to who you are today. And such the bigger part of your story and a big part of your story.
Yeah, it wasn't like an overnight. It was sort of like
Yes.
along the way. And then when I started like making space for like, why not me? And why can't I be intelligent? Why do I feel so unworthy, you know, or I don't deserve this? And, you know, I think over the years, I would say that is still something I still struggle with. You know, when you don't see yourself in positions of power, in even in entertainment, the way that you see women and you see people of color portrayed, that's how you're going to see yourself in a way, in a lot of ways. And that's also more importantly how other people will see you. And so they're going to treat you accordingly. And you just kind of have to break through.
Yeah. And I guess that's what you're saying, that confidence is just built on not thinking about what everyone else is saying or thinking or believing. That's literally the only thing that breaks you through. Yeah.
Because they're just products of their own stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Everyone's living in their own echo chambers and their own ceilings and their own, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.